Jacob deGrom. People are wondering, what is his chapter going to look like? And I suggest we need look no further, Jeff, than Chris Sale. Last year.
Yeah.
To know,
I'm following you.
And I get it. Chris Sale, I believe, was 35 at the start of last season. Jacob deGrom is 37 as we begin this season. So there's a 2-year difference there. But Jacob deGrom was a hell of a lot better before he got hurt than Chris Sale was.
Yeah.
And, age, I think, anymore is such a different thing. These guys keep themselves in such great shape. They have the nutritionists. They have all these. So, you'd say, man, a 36, 37, 35-year-old guy, he's not going to be able to do it anymore. I believe Jacob deGrom can. He sure looks the part. And from everything we've seen in the very small sample size since the surgery, I really believe he's dialed in. He is focused, and he is ready to have a Sale-like season, which would be a Cy Young-like season.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the fitness and all that stuff, working out, it's extended careers of people in all walks of life, in all sports, and for crying out loud, LeBron James, how old is he? And still has so good. So that's just one example, but. You look at deGrom, and I've seen him. He's fit. He's never been out of shape. But the thing to remember, when a guy misses time for an elbow injury, he doesn't just sit around for 12 months. He's working on the rest of his body. He's making his shoulder stronger. His shoulder, if it was giving him problems, you know what? He's getting some rest. His legs are getting stronger, and you always see that these guys, or not always, but in many cases, come back throwing harder.
Yes,
and it's a real long list of guys who have come back throwing harder after Tommy John. They mentioned, Chris Young mentioned the other day, Alejandro Rosario, the young prospect who has to have Tommy John, hasn't had it yet. He's going to come back better, and he's already throwing not topping out, but sitting at like 98. Okay, well, good God, what's he going to come back at? So anyway. These guys are in great shape, and again, the wear and tear on the rest of the body isn't there. So he's got a new elbow, and the body's fresh. So he's got a chance to do it. The big thing that I remember ever since I started doing this was that command and control were always the bugaboos with guys coming back from Tommy John. Jacob deGrom relies on his command. I mean, he's got great stuff, but he knows where he wants to live. He knows where he gets his outs on the outside corner, and I tell you that his outing Friday, he was just dotting the outside. Yeah, there was one at bat. It might have been against Salvador Perez from the or Bobby Witt Jr., one of the two. I mean, you just looked at the chart, the pitch chart on the website, and they were just all right off the lower corner. I mean, this guy's dialed in
on top of each other.
I mean, it was that good. So. He does have a chance to rebound. He's a 2-time Cy Young winner. When he's healthy, he's great. And, of course, we know that's been the problem. But if Jacob deGrom is healthy, Jacob deGrom's a Cy Young candidate, no matter how many innings he pitches. And then B, the Rangers are a very fearsome team to face in the American League. So that is a lot to carry for a guy, but he's used to it. And again, he hasn't pitched for 2 years, and people still say he's the best pitcher in the world. So that tells you how good he is.
Well, and in fact, if you look at the opposite side of the coin, if you will, right? One side says, well, he's been hurt pretty much ever since 2019, although actually he wasn't hurt in 20. He just didn't have any numbers. Nobody did because of COVID, but whatever.
He was healthy that year.
Yeah, he was healthy that year. The point is he's had essentially no wear and tear on the body because of injuries, right? The injuries have healed. Yeah. So he's had no wear and tear on the body for like 4 years now. Right. And that means the body remains a little bit more fresh. The other thing from that one outing that he's had thus far in spring training, Kyle Higashioka caught him. And it was the first time that Kyle had actually caught him in game circumstances. And he said afterwards, man, this guy is everything advertised. He puts it exactly where you want it. And, of course, afterwards, Jacob's going, I was a little off. I was missing my spots or whatever. But not to Kyle Higashioka, who's caught, by the way, a lot of really good pitchers.
Oh, absolutely.
Both in the Padres organization, but certainly going back to his days as a Yankee.
Yeah, and you know, the guys say it's easy to catch him.
Yes.
Because you don't have to move.
You don't have to move. Yeah.
The ball's going to be right where you want it, where you put your glove. So, you know, I've watched him play catch, and, you know, the guy, whoever he's playing catch with, will put his glove, the time I watched, basically right at the chest to neck level. Boom, boom, boom. And if he missed, Jacob would get upset. If it was high, he'd be like, or low. Ugh.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's a perfectionist out there, and they all are, but he's really hard on himself. So, you know, he's been on top of the mountain. He's with the 2 Cy Youngs. He may still be on top of the mountain. We don't know, but you know, Joel Sherman with the New York Post, who covered Jacob in New York, wrote a story about the peculiar case of Jacob deGrom in the Hall of Fame. And, you know, you look at his numbers, and I think we have something about his career on base percentage.
On base, yeah.
Yeah, it's the lowest.
Look at the people
in all time.
Yeah, he's better than Sandy Koufax and Pedro and Clayton Kershaw and Mariano Rivera, and that's for 1,000 at bats, Jeff. I mean, that's not. I mean, I'm sorry, 1,000 innings. I should say.
Okay.
1,000 innings, and so obviously, you know, Rivera pitched for so long.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Sandy Alcantara is on the Hall of Fame, but Pedro Martinez and Juan Marichal sure the heck are.
Yeah.
So, you know, and there are other numbers like that. You know, like his career ERA is, if it's not the lowest, it's top 3 all time for the amount of innings he's pitched. It's just crazy how good he is. But, you know, he won a Cy Young with like 10 wins. You know, it's like, it's kind of, he's kind of a modern day, if you will, example for a litmus test maybe for the Hall of Fame, you know.
Sure.
Because the wins aren't there, obviously. All the other numbers are. And you know, with the win not a huge deal anymore in statistical circles, because it's usually out of the pitcher's control. He's going to be an interesting case if he's healthy these next 3 years. Maybe he wins another Cy Young, and if he pitches a couple more years after that, be it for the Rangers or somewhere else, and he's good, it's gonna be a Koufax-like case. You know, Sandy Koufax was so good, but it was such a small window of time before he had to retire. It would help if, you know, the Rangers got to the World Series.
Sure.
You know, because some of Sandy's best games were in the postseason. And the guy pitched, I think it was Game 7 of the '65 World Series on 2 days rest and threw a complete game shutout.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, that's probably also why he got arthritis in his elbow. But it's the chance to be like that, and the numbers may be there. And when he retires and is on the ballot, it's going to be pretty interesting if these next 3 to 5 years are great.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got 3 more for sure on this contract, this one and 2 more. And then, but the thing to remember about that quest, if you will, is that the same guys who are watching him and ranking him as they are right now are the same guys who are going to be voting when that happens. And as we say, he ranks above all of them in the on-base percentage allowed. So it's a significant thing that he's done. And all we have to, I mean, both, from what we've heard, both Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, north of 40, are both, you know, off to pretty good spring starts. Now, again, let's make it through a season before we start, you know, blowing a trumpet for them. But that said, these guys are significantly older than Jacob deGrom.
They are. And, you know, their velocity's declined. I mean, they have a bunch of innings. You know, they've been workhorses pretty much throughout their careers, not immune to injury. I mean, Verlander's had Tommy John surgery, and Scherzer's last couple of years haven't been very healthy. He struck out 6 the other day, I think, in his start for the Blue Jays, and Verlander's still out there pumping for the Giants. So, you know, they're Hall of Famers. No doubt about that.
No doubt.
But you know, they have 3 Cy Youngs. If deGrom were to match a 3rd Cy Young, you know, it's like, gosh, how do you not?
Yeah,
you can have 3 Cy Youngs out of the Hall of Fame.
We all silly like the mayor.